Dear students, today we will study about the structural organization of a cell. That is, what are the different structures of which cell is made up of. So as I told you in my last lecture that cells are the building block of an organism. An organism is made up of cells. It can be multicellular organism or it can be unicellular organism. So what are these cells made up of? These cells are made up of plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. So all of the cells contain these three things. That is the outer plasma membrane, inner at the center there is nucleus present, and the ground substance, that is the cytoplasm. We will be studying these in detail. Now, in addition to plasma membrane, plant cells are also having cell walls. Okay, so outermost layer is of cell wall in case of the plant cells. So let us now study about the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane was discovered by Nageli and Kramer. It is the outermost covering of the cell, and as I told you just now that plant cells are having cell wall in addition to this plasma membrane. The main function of plasma membrane is to separate the cell and its content from the outer environment, so that whatever things which should not enter the cell are kept at far place with the help of this plasma membrane. So this plasma membrane is basically managing, or it is allowing certain materials to enter into it, while for certain materials it has a complete restriction. So it allows the entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell. So this is the structure of the plasma membrane. There are many models which explain the structure of the plasma membrane. One is fluid mosaic model, one is lipid bilayer model. These you will study in your higher classes. So here just you have to see that how these substances, like here in this case it is oxygen is moving out or in of the cell through the plasma membrane. There are certain transport proteins which help in this transport of materials in and out of the cell. So it is preventing the movement of some materials, just like I told you right now. How is the nature of this plasma membrane? It is very thin, it is elastic in nature, it is living, and it is selectively permeable membrane. So what do you understand by the term selectively permeable membrane? That is, it is allowing certain materials to pass through it, while for some materials it is restricting the passage for them. Okay, and this plasma membrane is made up of lipids and proteins. As I told you just now that the plasma membrane encloses nucleus and cytoplasm of the cell. The cells are surrounded by the plasma membrane, and inside the cell ground substance cytoplasm is present, and at the center nucleus is present. It helps in protection of the cellular components. So whatever cellular components or organelles are present inside the cell, they are protected with the help of this plasma membrane. So now the next question comes that how the movement of these substances are taking place into the cell, how the exit and entry of these substances are taking place. How do the substances move out and how do the substances move in of the cell? So certain substances like carbon dioxide and oxygen, that is some gases, They move across the plasma membrane by a process of diffusion. So what happens in diffusion? There is a spontaneous movement of a substance from a region of its higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Wherever the substance is present in high concentration, it starts moving from that point and goes to the region where that substance is present in lower concentration. So this diffusion is having a major role in the gaseous exchange between the cell and its external environment. So whatever exchange of gases which are taking place in our body, in the cells, it is done with the help of the process which is known as diffusion. Now comes the water molecules. How the movement of the water molecules is regulated. So the movement of water molecules is done through the selectively permeable membrane by the process of osmosis. For other substances, the process was diffusion. In case of the water, the process is known as osmosis. Again, this osmosis is taking place from a region of high water concentration to a region of lower water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. This thing has to be kept taken care of, that these movements are taking place through a semi-permeable membrane. So osmosis is nothing but it is a special case of diffusion only. So what are the significances of diffusion? Just now we have discussed that gaseous exchange between the leaves and air takes place with the help of diffusion. In case of human beings also, the gaseous exchange in our body takes place with the help of diffusion only. In plants, transport of food through phloem also takes place with the help of diffusion. As you all are aware that phloem transports the food material in the plants. Then loss of water from the plants, that is transpiration, it is also based on the principle of diffusion. And the movement of ions and solutes from one cell to another also takes place through diffusion. So here this figure explains the process of osmosis. Suppose we have taken a beaker and in the center of the beaker a semi-permeable membrane, partially permeable membrane is kept. At one side of this container you can see more of the sugar molecules are there. These red dots are of sugar molecules and these blue dots are of water molecule. So these red dots, where the portion where these red dots are more, that is the concentrated sugar solution, and the portion where water molecules are in abundance, it is the dilute sugar solution. As you can see, very less sugar molecules are present here. It means that on the right hand side of the container the solution is dilute, it contains more of the water molecules, and on the left hand side of the container there the solution is concentrated sugar solution in which more of the sugar molecules are present. So in osmosis, as we all know that there is a movement of water molecule from the area of or the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So you can see as the osmosis takes place, the water molecules pass through this semi-permeable membrane and enter to the left hand side where there were less water molecules earlier. And as this semi-permeable membrane is having the pores which are of specific hole, only the water molecules are passing through these holes. Okay, the size of these holes is specific, so this water molecule is only getting transported through this semi-permeable membrane, while the size of the sugar particle is larger than these pores, so the sugar particles cannot move through this semi-permeable membrane. So you can see selectively permeable membrane is acting over here, which allows the entry of certain substances through it, while the movement of some substances are not allowed through this. This whole figure very well explains the process of osmosis. Now the significance of osmosis. First of all, the absorption of water by the roots and root hairs in plants, it happens due to osmosis. Then movement of water from one cell to another cell. Then it also controls the amount of water within the cell. So these three significances are there for osmosis. Then there are certain other physiological activities also which are controlled by osmosis. First one is opening and closing of stomata. Next is the splitting of fruits due to over irrigation. If more water is supplied to the fruit plants, then those fruits starts breaking up, they starts splitting up. Then next is dehiscence of fruits and seeds for dispersal. So dehiscence means spreading up of the fruits and seeds for dispersal, that is done during pollination. So all these activities are controlled by the process of osmosis. So students, we will stop here today and we'll continue with the new lecture tomorrow. Thank you very much.